A new night brings us a new round of the NASCAR Thunder 2003 Winston Cup playoffs. Tonight we will be at the California Speedway for the running of the California 500 under the lights to open up the round 12. Friday night at Bristol went to Jeff Gordon after a small four-lap sprint to the checkers, holding off an aggressive Ricky Rudd. From a bullring that encouraged finger-pointing, fender-banging, wreck-your-teammate racing to high speeds and nightmares for engine tuners. California Speedway is one of the more recent stops on the Winston Cup circuit. 14 degrees in the corners, 11 degrees of banking on the front, 3 degrees on the back. Tonight's race will pay out $173,000 to the winner. This track's first race was set in 1997, and today seats 92,000 seats. The track record was set in April of 2002 by Ryan Newman. As I mentioned last time out, back at Bristol, I am driving a cancer-themed car for tonight's race. Throughout the following races, California, Charlotte, Talladega, Martinsville, I will be driving breast cancer-themed paint schemes. Out of turn 4, Dylan Murray will be 11th on the grid. Almost 190 miles an hour going into turn 1. And we'll see how this lap tracks out here. And almost 190 in the 3. Kind of clip the apron there. Out of turn 4. That puts us 10th on the starting grid.
Thanks for joining us here in Southern California for another NASCAR Winston Cup Series event. Pit strategy could be a major factor in this race, Barney.
Yeah, and what makes these long green runs interesting is that although the cars are all relatively similar, they can have very different pit windows. That can play a very important role at the end of the race with determining who has to pit again and who can go the distance.
Sterling Marlin picked up Rookie of the Year honors in 1983, but it took him over 10 years to find his way to victory lane.
But he made it there in impressive fashion. If you have to wait that long to pick up a win, you might as well make it a big one. And Sterling did with a win in the 1994 Daytona 500.
The NBC car has a string of top 5s going.
And let me tell you something, Joe. You throw in a couple of wins to go along with those top 5s, and all of a sudden you're in the hunt for the championship.
Jerry Nadeau is not having the year he had hoped for so far.
Well, you're right. You can see the disappointment in his crew as well. These guys will bounce back, though. All they need is just one good finish to put their minds back on track.
Gentlemen, start your engine. Let's see how they'll line up for the start. In the front row are the Rubbermaid Ford and the Caterpillar Dodge. In the second row are the Target Dodge and the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. Jeff Gordon, this season's point leader, will start the race from the 6th place. In row 4 are the Dale Jr. Chevrolet and the NBC car. Rounding out the top 10 starting spots are the Kellogg Chevrolet and the DeWalt Power Tools Ford. The 6th row has the 23 car and the Sirius Satellite Radio Dodge. In row 7 are the Tide Ford and the Mark Martin Ford. Starting the race from row 8 are the UPS Ford and the Lowe Chevrolet. And in row 9 are the Dodge dealers UAW Dodge and the Valvoline Pontiac. Starting in row 10 will be the Citgo Ford and the 37 car. In row 11 are the 46 car and the UAW Delphi Chevrolet. In row 12 are the America Online Chevrolet and the Altel Ford. Row 13 finds the Avalon Ford and the GM Goodrich Service Plus Chevrolet. The 14th row has the Dodge dealers UAW Dodge and the Motorcraft Ford. In row 15 are the 98 car and the Team Rusty Ford. Starting the race from row 16 are the Singular Wireless Chevrolet and the M&M's Pontiac. Row 17 has the Van Racing Dodge and the Pintola Chevrolet. Starting in row 18 will be the Home Depot Pontiac and the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. In row 19 are the 26 car and the Kodak Chevrolet. In row 20 are the 27 car and the Square D Chevrolet. Back in row 21, we have the Cheerios Dodge and the Sprint Dodge. And rounding out the field is the 16 car.
So, 62 laps untapped tonight in this one. Kurt Busch is on the pole. 12 drivers left. For 12, all their points will be reset to 4,000. Jeff Gordon, with his 2 wins in the last round, will be the number 1 seed. Let's go. Kurt Busch brings him down, and we are underway in California. Wow, look at Marlin all the way to the inside lane in turn 3. Not a whole lot of help until Dylan Roy gets him well past Jimmy Spencer. Gordon ducks to the inside here because it looks like that's going to be the fastest spot around. That's all Kurt Busch needs to see, as Kurt will lead lap 1. Dylan Roy closing up tight on Busch, going to take the lead in turn 1. Under him, still side by side. Down the backstretch, Dylan Roy with a push from Gordon to take the top spot. New leader, California. Busch comes back. He's got help from Marlin. And Dylan tries to run Marlin high. 3 wide at the line. Dylan barely led that lap over Kurt Busch. Wow. 3 wide. Dylan slips in the corner. Way up the racetrack he goes as to get out of the gas and falls outside the top 5. already we got cars coming down pit road on lap 3. What is this? Half the field is just peeled off pit lane. Mark Martin is now in the second spot. What is going on? And it looks like the other half might be doing the same thing. And Martin peels off pit lane. And this means Dylan Murway is alone by himself here on lap 5. Wow. Already on lap 4, we got cars coming down pit road led by Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin. And odd to see that. Could this be the other rest of the field playing pit strat? Nah, there's no way you're pitting at lap 4 unless there's going to be a ton of yellows coming our way. No way. No way one would logically pit on lap 4. So out front, this means Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin are the only drivers not still on the lead lap. Dylan Murway has lapped the entire field due to green flag pit stops and not being the only one not pitting. Wow. Interesting developments early on here in the California 500. Sterling Marlin takes the second spot from Jeff Gordon. Last time we were out at a 2-mile track like this that was at night was back at Michigan. And Sterling Marlin was out front when a late caution came out and gave Sterling Marlin the win. It was a late debris caution from Earnhardt Jr. in that race. Dylan Murway is just dominating this field right now. 8 laps complete here in the California 500. Dylan Murway is your race leader by nearly a full lap over the field. Bizarre pit strategy early on in this one. And Marlin and Gordon come down pit road again. Down the sheet they go. More drivers are pitting. What is going on? Kind of bizarre to see this. That was 4 laps on a cycle of fuel. Are they banking on a bunch of cautions coming out? So a very bizarre start to the round of 12 here at California. You got playoff drivers Mark Martin, Jimmy Johnson, and Kevin Harvick probably heading to pit road. And they'll do just that. So now Dylan Murway is approximately at 2 full laps on a majority of the field. Here on lap 10. Cars leaving pit road, cars entering pit road. There's cars at the back of this group. Very odd to see these guys, the drivers, come down pit road so early in this race. Dylan Murway continues to lap more cars. Robbie Gordon a lap down. Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson a second lap down. Only damage was Dylan Murray scraping the wall off turn 2, but other than that, his breast cancer Chevrolet has been clean and green since we've taken the green tonight. So now Jimmy Johnson's in 4th. He is 2 laps down already in this race. Already we've got the entire field a lap off the pace compared to what Dylan Murray is running. He's running 39.80s. And Dylan Murray battles with Jimmy Johnson to try to get one of his laps back. You know, some of these guys are going to have to basically fight to unlap themselves if a caution were to come out. And it looks like Dylan will let Johnson and Harvick, and the 8 of Junior who puts him in the wall. The caution has come out. Junior just ran Dylan into the wall. We got leaders that attempted to pit. Make a pit stop. First yellow tonight. For the 8 of Earnhardt Jr., who gets hammered by Ward Burton at the end. Robbie Gordon, Labonte get by, Rudd, Spencer. Everyone is a lap down. Green flag back into the air. The entire field falls a lap down. Gordon did not get going. He falls to the 5th position. But out front, Sterling Marlin, Jimmy Johnson are battling for 2nd, and hopefully an opportunity for Dylan to unlap himself as Marlin comes down pit road again. Kevin Harvick will unlap him, be up front. And see what he does. And so will the majority of this field. By the looks of it, including the pole sitter Kurt Busch. So we'll see if these guys come down pit road. Looks to be just that. More cars continue to fall a lap down. Casey Kane gets loose. Dylan Murray, he's going to have to pit soon. Look at that. Look at all the cars lapped that Dylan just got unlapped and lapped again. How about that? Just wow. Andretti, McMurray, Waltrip, Elliott, Wimmer, Busch, Jeff Green, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick, Frank Kimmel. Wow, a lot of names really odd to see these guys pitting as much as they have, because that's the third time they've been down on pit road this race. Dylan Murway has been the only leader in this one. And Mayfield will get turned into the pack. Caution will come out. Got a smoker in turn one. Mayfield off into Bo 9. Second caution of the night comes out. Waltrip gets into Kurt Busch. Dale Jarrett got a piece of that as well. Very interesting start in this one. We'll see how many cars are a lap down here. Wow. The entire field is a lap down. Marlin, Johnson, Gordon, Harvick, and Martin are a lap down. Anybody from junior on back, 2 down. And then Park on back, 3 down. And there's Nadu. Jeff Purvis fell out of the race early on with a blown motor. What even is this race? We've already got probably half the entire field lap down or more. So pace car is off. Green flag back into the air. Dylan Murway restarts at the end of this line. In front of him are guys like Gordon, Harvick, Martin, Johnson, and Marlin. Almost seems like Dylan Murway is also underpowered as well. He can't seem to get the power down as much as other cars have. We'll see if the pit cycle continues. Yep, more cars on pit road. Approximately half the field on pit road this time. Wow, damage to Kenseth somehow. A lot of damage to his car. Kenseth escaped Bristol, barely getting into the round of 12. Not a good way to start his round with all that damage, as more cars are on pit road. Dylan Murway enjoying a nice Monday evening cruise in California, leading basically the entire race up to this point. Very similar to performance to what he put on back in New Hampshire. Only difference is when he lapped the field, it was bit by bit. He didn't have the aid of cautions and having very weird pits, extremely weird pit cycles. In this one. Whereas here, he has. Dylan Murway and Jeff Gordon, remember, they dominated the opening round of the chase. Gordon won Darlington and Bristol. Jeff Gordon and Dylan Murway won at Richmond, ironically holding off none other than Jeff Gordon. Now it has been a rather dominating performance as Kenseth got way loose on the apron. Dylan Murway continues to lap more drivers. Martin gets into Biffle. That seems to sort everybody out. And wow. Look at the domination that Dylan Murway has shown tonight in this one. 27 laps led. We're working lap 28. 2 cautions. 1 car fell out of the race, not due to an accident. And that was Jeff Purvis. Earnhardt Jr. was part of an accident with Ward Burton early on in this race. And we got caution has come out, possibly for debris. Third yellow of the night. Martin will get one of his laps back. The furthest driver back is Jeff Gordon. He is a lap down. The rule is when a yellow comes out, if you are a lap down and you get by the leader, you will get one of your laps back. And normally you get 1 lap back, but here it's one of the other laps as Robbie Gordon loses a piece of his car. He hit it was a hood. And I think Kurt Busch might have ran over it. Pace car is off. Dylan Murway leads. Green flag. What a dominating race, though, by Dylan Murway. He has lapped the entire field, granted, off of the benefit of some very questionable pit strategy by the rest of the field, being the only driver on the lead lap and all. If him or Mark Martin get by Dylan, that means they get their laps back. Martin gets into pit road. Harvick gets up the track. Everybody gets by on pit. About half the field pit this time. Johnson got by Dylan, so Johnson's the only other car on the lead lap. California kid, the Colorado kid. West Coast kids up in the top 3. And California is obviously in the Rocky Mountains, or Colorado is in the Rocky Mountains. California is out west. But so far, it's a Rocky Mountain side of dominance for Dylan Murway. As, granted, off of some rather odd pit calls, Dylan Murway has just lapped the field. In fact, 90% of the race has been field pitting and Dylan Murway just running through them on the highway. Three cautions tonight. And last we checked, how many cars are out of this race, but a lot of drivers are 3 laps down or more. And you got Nadu 5 laps down. Jeff Purvis, the only car out of this race. Wow. That was literally this entire race. It has been Dylan Murway out front, everybody else pitting every 4 laps. And Labonte and Jr. into the wall this time. Biffle spins, got more wrecks all over the place. Yellow flag. Several spins, 2 separate accidents. Labonte turned into the wall with Jr. help with Kenseth. Oh, Junior got hit. Tough first chase driver with problems. Actual crashes tonight. Being caught up in a crash. Everybody else has been multiple laps down. Or more. As Dylan Murway continues to lead this race in a rather painful fashion. We'd like to remind you Wednesday afternoon, 12:30 Eastern, will be race 2 of the chase, hopefully more competitive than this one. Hopefully. At Lowe's Motor Speedway, race 5 at 36. Jeff Gordon looks to complete the season sweep. He won the Coca-Cola 600, if you remember. Wow. Green flag back into the air. Only 3 cars in front of Dylan. As Harvick gets run to the inside. 4 cars up ahead fighting for the lead. For just straight up trying not to get lapped. And more to pit road. Yep, more cars to pit road. Everybody on pit road this time. Very bizarre situation here. Dylan Murway is lapped all but 2 cars. Johnson was the only other driver to get his lap back. Of course, that will probably change when he pits again. Almost like it's been a mad loop. You got cars coming out of pit road, cars coming into pit road. And more drivers. Yep. Johnson's one of them. Nothing but clear track in front of Dylan at this point. As he continues to lap the field. I don't know how many cars that he's passed. And not a lot to talk about when you got weird pit strategy trapping the entire field laps down, multiple laps down. In fact, last time Dylan Murway had a lap margin lead up to this point because his car was just that fast. It was back at New Hampshire when he won by a lap. At least there it was, piece by piece when he lapped the field. It wasn't just everybody pitting at once. Earnhardt Jr. is the only driver out of this race, so he is at the bottom of the playoff list as we got debris on the racetrack. Race back to the caution, the yellow flag. And a race that has just been nothing short of yikes. Looks like debris off of Kenseth's car. A lot of damage he's had tonight. Pace car is off. Johnson on the inside. Dylan trying to keep the field a lap down again. Green flag. And looks like more people are heading to pit road, led by Gordon and Johnson. Everybody else pits? Maybe. Everyone except Jimmy Johnson. Wow. Just, yeah. You hope next week's a bit more competitive. I mean, we've had cautions to break up the action, but nobody has seemed to take down Dylan Murway until these later stages with Jimmy Johnson trying to get unlap himself and relap himself, only to relap himself coming onto pit lane. In fact, the only passing that's happened tonight was on the opening lap. Pretty much. Pretty much the only passing that happened was Dylan Murway getting by Kurt Busch on lap 1 and a brief three-wide battle between him and Jeff Gordon. Wow. Look at that. Dylan Murway with a multiple lap victory lead over the field and puts Jimmy Johnson a lap down again. Well, 2 down. Dylan passed Jimmy on pit road. While Dylan was on the track, Jimmy was not. $13 to go at the line. And what has been a rather, to put it lightly, a very boring race with bizarre and boring race all at the same time. You had 2 straight thrillers last week. You had that thriller battle between Dylan Murway and Jeff Gordon at Richmond. And Jeff Gordon and Ricky Rudd battling at Bristol late on a 4-lap restart. Now it's just, wow, very boring. Very odd to see all those cars pitting every 4 laps. And Dylan Murway well on his way to win number 7. Harvick and Spencer heading to pit road, and Jimmy Johnson probably doing the same. We'll see Dylan Murway pitting in the next few laps or so, probably for a top off on fuel. Is how much of a lead he has. $10 to go when we get to the line. Look at the field, basically just pile on pit road. Dylan Murway has obviously already had to pit a couple times for fuel. Now he's basically just riding it out, just trying to see how much he can last. He is obviously short, so he is going to have to pit. As he flies by the field like it's nothing. How about Dylan Murway, though, last week? Bristol came back from a mid-race spin with Rusty Wallace and Kyle Petty to finishing 3rd. is nothing short of amazing. Not only that, it was just impressive to see him be as dominant as he has. Dylan Murray continuing to lead with 9 to go. How far ahead he is. Wow. 2 full laps ahead of Jeff Gordon. And look at how far back the field is. 6 laps, 7 laps. Laps back, 8 laps. Wow. Bizarre pit strategy has plagued this race. Emphasis on bizarre when I say this. Because you got tons of cars pitting, tons of cars leaving the track all at the same time. That just creates a very sticky situation for pit crews and anybody trying to take down Dylan Murray, who has led basically from the outset. Kurt Busch is the only other driver. He has led 1 lap in this race. 2 leaders the entire night. And Dylan Murray will head down pit road. Here. And it looks like he will take his, what should be the final pit stop of this race. As multiple drivers come by and attempt to unlap themselves. What a race. That's, wow. Just, I think 90% of the field's already packed up and headed to Charlotte with how dominant Dylan has been. Cars down. Already have people on pit road completing their final stops. And the caution is out. Turn 1. Looks like debris maybe is it's off of someone's car. Newman somehow almost hit it. As we race back to the caution flag. Drivers heading to pit lane. People exiting pit lane. Somebody probably hit that fender. As the field heads to the caution flag. Yep, Mayfield loses part of his rear bumper. So 4 laps to go here. I doubt anybody would pit now in this one, because the race would basically be over if a yellow were to come out now. And Johnson gets sent up the track. And it looks like more drivers are pitting. Again, how could you burn through fuel this fast? That's what I want to know. How are these guys burning through fuel? This time maybe a handful of cars are pitting Dylan Murway has hit 2 to go in what has been a very crazy and bizarre race in terms of pit strategy. I mean, they've had cautions, but... Oh, caution. Turn 2. This will be the race. Debris off of someone's car as they head back through turn 4. Johnson will get his lap back. Kenseth gets turned at the line. And a big pile up. Dylan takes the white flag. Debris off of the 2 of Rusty Wallace. As Dylan comes off of turn 4 in a bizarre finish, will win tonight at California. Dylan Murway is already through to the round of 12 with this, with the way the strategy in the race has been. And to top it off, he's already blown his motor during victory burnouts. Like, wow. Bizarre end to a even more bizarre race. Dylan Murway has earned 7 wins this season. So you can already put him into the round of 8. As looks like he's looking for his pit stall to summarize tonight's race. Just straight up all the pitting that happened. And everybody pitting every 5 laps.
There sure were a lot of cautions in this one.
Well, it's definitely a busy day for the Pontiac pace car driver. I really don't know why we had so many. Just one of those races, I guess.
And the 121 car grabs the victory.
That team deserved it. They worked hard all race long, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of celebrating tonight.
From all of us here at
Wow.
Sports and MRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's race. We'll see you next week at Lowe's.
So let's take a look at how the rest of this race played out. How the unofficial results look. Look at that. The field coming back on the track. Rusty Wallace being the final caution. Win number 7 for Dylan Murway in this one, as he rolled into victory lane. Yikes. So, a very bizarre top 10. Jimmy Johnson is the only car to finish on the lead lap next to Dylan Murway. Jeff Gordon is third, 2 laps down, and everybody from Kevin Harvick on back is 3 laps down. Look at that. Ryan Newman ends up 4 laps down in 8th. Jimmy Spencer and Ward Burton ran out in the top 10, 5 laps down. 1 lead change the entire night. 7 caution flags for 11 laps. Dylan Murway bags $173,000 and a spot in the round of 8. This race took almost an hour and a half. Average speed, 89 miles an hour. And the margin of victory, 0.6 of a second under caution. Look at that. 5 laps down, 6 laps down from Kenseth to Jeff Green to pretty much from Jeff Green to about Tom Bodine, 7 laps down. Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Purvis are the only drivers who are out of the race, who fell out. So Jr., Mayfield, Kurt Busch, and Dale Jarrett are at the bottom of the point sheet heading into Charlotte. For the round of 12 and hopefully a more competitive race. So, weekly awards. Kurt Busch won the pole. Dylan led the most laps. Kyle Petty passed the most cars. Jeff Gordon had the fastest lap. Dylan Murray was the best rookie. And Mark Martin made the best pass. Dylan Murray opens his lead back up in the Rookie of the Year standings. We have 16 drivers winning a pole this season as of right now. Chevrolet continues to open their lead in the Manufacturer Championship. They can clinch at Charlotte. And Dylan Murray passes Jeff Gordon in the EA Sports Lap Champion counter. So, the round of 12 continues next on Wednesday at Charlotte. And then Friday afternoon at Talladega. And then we have the round of 8 Monday, Wednesday, Monday afternoon at Martinsville, Wednesday afternoon at Texas, Friday afternoon at Phoenix, and then Tuesday at Homestead. We will see you next time.